This is a quick discussion of how one uses VLOOKUP to tie together variables from two different data sets, and then how one creates a scatter chart from the data that you've produced, and how to deal with missing variables and using things like sort in order to do the work. So I went to Gapminder and I looked at all the data sets. Here's data in Gapminder World, and I downloaded a couple of them. Let's take a look at the Excel sheets. I'm going to go back and forth. So here's one. This is in the total health expenditures as a percentage of GDP, and I've copied the data from this over into let's see what this says, into the other spreadsheet you'll see in a second. So total health expenditure and health is a percentage of GDP, and so there's information about this, and I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but here we go. That's one indicator. What about the other one? Well, the other one is income per person. Let's make this easier to see. Income per person fixed $2,000 US. So this is per capita income. Let's see. That's gross domestic product per capita in constant $2,000 US. Now what I've done is I've put that information, I've copied that data set here, and I've got the information on health spending here. I want to combine them. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick a year to combine them, and just going out and looking here, it looks like I've got 2010 is the latest data for health spending as a fraction of GDP. GDP per capita, let's see, it goes all the way out to 2011. So what I'm going to do, just to make my life easy, is just to get rid of all these other columns, and that way it'll be easier to see what's going on. So I'm going to delete all the columns except for 2010. Might as well get rid of. So this is just to make life simpler and make my tables smaller. Now, same deal here. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this data, and again, this is for convenience. So here I've got health expenditure. I want to match with that. I want to put in GDP per capita. Okay, so actually, maybe I'll do it the other way around. So here is, I want to put in this variable. Let's see what it is. Excuse me. Copy that. Okay, and put it in here. Okay, so what I need to do is first I need to create a VLOOKUP table. Now there are two ways to do this. One is just this. I'll just go ahead and well, first of all, let me locate where all the data is. It's in this sheet, and it goes all the way down to row 263. That's a lot of stuff. A2 through B263. Okay, so here's we go. We're going to go equals VLOOKUP. And we're going to look for the country, and then we're going to go to this table array, which starts here, goes all the way up to here, and I need to make this an absolute reference. So what I'm going to do is go here and go click on, I'm typing F4 at the moment. Notice $A, $2. Okay, so now when I copy this formula down, it'll keep that reference A2 through B263. Okay, so I'll look up the name of the country and look in this array here, and then I take the second column, see column B, the second column from the array. So I want to put a comma. Oops, that's just sort of snuck in there. Column, comma 2, comma, and I want exact match, so I have to do false. Okay, so I get a 0. That's not too helpful. We'll fix that, all right? And so here we go. Here's our data, and basically looking really good. I don't have any country. Oh yeah, so here's a bunch of countries which don't really exist. All right, pretty good. Not quite what I want. In particular, I don't want the zeros. So here's one way to do that. I go equals, if this guy is greater than 0, then I want that guy, so C2 there. Otherwise, I want a blank. All right, so that's my formula here. Hit enter. That's what I got. Okay, so this is the same thing. All right, I'm almost done. All right, so now what I could do is just cut this guy and move it away. Maybe I'll put it over here. And okay, and then I could delete this column here. So now I've got these two things next to each other. Okay, another thing I could do, and this is quite reasonable, would be to take all this information and to copy it and just go paste values. Paste the values like that. All right. So here, what I've got is GDP per capita and health fraction GDP. Okay, good. But now these things are numbers. They're not the formulas here. They're just the numbers. Okay. So then next thing I want to do is I want to sort all this stuff. Excel's pretty smart. If I go to data sort, it'll say, hey, do you want to sort this information? And let me hit cancel. Let me see what it's selected. It's selected, I don't know, that's selected all this stuff. Maybe I should go back and do it like this. So I'm just going to select all my data here, and I'm going to go to data sort, and then we sort by GDP per capita. I'll do it like this, from smallest to from largest to smallest, let's say, and we'll go like that. Okay, so here's what we got. All right, so if we look at this, that's great, except that there's some ones where I've left stuff out. And so now I've got information on GDP per capita for all these countries, all the way down to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so what I'm going to do now is I'll sort within these guys, and within these guys I'll sort by the health fraction of GDP. So here we go, and I'll go from largest to smallest for the health fraction of GDP. And notice I'm just sorting within the ones for which I've got data on GDP per capita. And let's see what I've got here. And so what I can do is just take these guys out. I'm just going to move them down to the bottom and just remove them. Okay, maybe what I could do is just go right back here and go cut. Control X, cut. And I'll just put it down at the bottom. I don't want to like lose the information. I'll just put them down here. Okay, so here we go. All right, so now basically I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Okay, so maybe just to keep things clear, I can delete, go back to home, go to delete, and delete these cells, shift the cells up, and there we go. Okay, so now I can go ahead and find the relationship between these two variables. And here you go. So I'm going to go to insert a chart, scatter chart, and let's see what happens. So it takes the information and it gives me this. All right, so not super helpful, not a great chart, but it's doing what I want, right? So then I can go ahead and title it health fraction GDP equals function of GDP per capita. Okay, and let's see. So if I take this and cut it, I can bring it all the way up to the top here. Just look at these countries up at the top. So here's the United States, and in fact, so the United States is, which one is that? Well, that's the one at about 18% with about $37,000 per capita. That's this guy over here. The Marshall Islands, which is really, you know, a very, very tiny country. Marshall Islands and Tuvalu, those are kind of outliers. They're sitting over here. If I'd like, I can take this guy and add a trend line to it. Let's do that. So we're going to go to the having clicked on this the chart. Let me do that again. Click on the chart. You can see that I get this new chart tools, and I'm going to go to add. I click on not format but design. I go to add chart element, and I do a trend line and more trend line options. So what I want to do is I want a linear, but I want to see the equation and the r squared. So I think if I just hit enter at this point, we got it here. So close that. So we've got Y, which is the fraction of GDP, the percentage of GDP spent on healthcare, as a function of X, which is the GDP per capita. 9 times 10 to the minus fifth times the GDP per capita plus 6.314. So 6.34 here, that's the intercept. No GDP per capita, you still spend about 6% of GDP on healthcare. But it rises for every $100,000, it rises 9 points. So predicted that about at 50,000 we'd be up to not 6, but we'd be up to, say, 10.5 or so, if I read that right, going across, or 11, something like that. So that's what this equation shows you. I think that's it for now, so I'm going to stop.